I need to tell you about what happened to my sister's family last year. Her 6-year-old son Luke won't sleep in his own room anymore, and after you hear this, you'll understand why. My sister Courtney is married to an NBA player. I'm keeping his name private, but he plays for a major team. They have 2 kids, Luke, who just turned 6, and China, who's 4. The family goes to every home game to support their dad. It's their thing. Quality time, you know? This was back in March, a Thursday night game. Nothing special about it, just another regular season matchup. Courtney and the kids were sitting about 8 rows up from the court. Good seats, the kind where you can see the players' faces, hear them calling plays. The arena was packed, loud. Luke was eating popcorn, swinging his legs, having a great time. Then, about 10 minutes into the first quarter, he tugged on Courtney's sleeve. "Mommy, that man keeps looking at me." Courtney glanced to her right. There was a guy sitting 2 seats down, middle-aged, maybe late 40s, plain-looking, wearing a team jersey and a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. He was facing forward, watching the game. "He's just watching the game, sweetie." Luke nodded and went back to his popcorn. 5 minutes later, Luke pulled on her sleeve again. This time his voice was smaller, worried. "Mommy, he's making faces at me." "What do you mean?" "Whenever I look at him, he makes a face, a scary one." Courtney looked over. The man was watching the game, expression blank, sipping a beer. He looked completely normal. "Baby, I think you're imagining things. He's just watching the game." Luke didn't say anything else, but he scooted closer to her. By the end of the first quarter, Courtney noticed Luke kept glancing nervously to his right. He'd stopped eating, stopped cheering. He was just sitting there, tense. "Luke, what's wrong?" "He keeps doing it, Mommy, every time you're not looking." Courtney turned fully toward the man this time, trying to catch him in the act. He was leaning back in his seat, arms crossed, eyes on the court. Completely normal. She even waved at him a friendly little wave, trying to be polite, maybe signal that she was watching. He didn't wave back, didn't even glance at her, just kept staring straight ahead. Something about that, the fact that he completely ignored her, made her uneasy. Halftime came. Courtney took China to the bathroom while Luke stayed in his seat, clutching his dad's jersey. When they got back, Luke looked pale. "Did he do it again?" Courtney asked. Luke just nodded. "What kind of face is he making, buddy?" Luke looked down at his lap. "I don't want to say." "You can tell me." It's like his mouth goes really big, and his eyes get weird, like he's trying to be scary." Courtney felt a chill. She looked at the man again. He was on his phone now, scrolling, completely casual. She told herself Luke was probably just tired. Kids get spooked easily at loud, crowded places. She'd keep an eye on things. Midway through the third quarter, Courtney's phone rang. She pulled it out her boss. She'd been waiting on this call all day about a contract deadline. She leaned down to Luke. "Baby, I need to take this call. It's really important. Stay right here with China, okay? Do not leave these seats. I'll be right back." "Okay, Mommy," Luke whispered. Courtney kissed both their heads and stepped out into the concourse. The noise level dropped immediately. She pressed the phone to her ear. The call took longer than expected. Her boss kept asking questions, wanting clarifications, going over details. She tried to wrap it up quickly, but he kept talking. She checked her watch. 5 minutes had passed. When she finally hung up and turned back toward the arena entrance, her heart stopped. Luke and China were walking toward her. Luke was holding China's hand, looking around frantically, his little face panicked. Courtney rushed over. "Luke, I told you to stay in your seat. What are you doing out here?" "Mommy, I got scared." "Scared of what?" "The man, What man?" Luke pointed behind him. Courtney looked. The man from their section was standing about 30 feet away, just standing there in the middle of the concourse, hands in his pockets, staring directly at them. Not moving, not blinking, just staring. Courtney's stomach dropped. "Luke, did he follow you out here?" Luke's eyes filled with tears. "You were gone and he kept doing it. And I got scared. So I took China and went to find you. And when I looked back, he was behind us." Courtney's hands were shaking. She knelt down, eye level with Luke. What was he doing, baby? What face was he making? Luke's voice cracked. Like this. He scrunched up his face, mouth stretched open, unnaturally wide, eyes bulging, head tilted at a wrong angle. It was disturbing to see a 6-year-old mimic something so unnatural. Courtney looked back at the man. He was still standing there, still staring. She grabbed both kids' hands. Come on, we're going back to our seats. Stay close to me. She walked quickly, heart pounding, checking over her shoulder every few steps. The man didn't follow. He just stood there, watching them go. When they got back to their row, his seat was empty. His beer was still there. His jacket was draped over the back of his chair. But he was gone. Courtney scanned the entire section. The concourse, the stairs, nothing. He just disappeared. They stayed for the rest of the game, but Courtney couldn't focus. She kept looking around, expecting to see him pop up somewhere. Luke sat pressed against her side the entire time, silent. China fell asleep in her lap. When the game ended, Courtney didn't wait for her husband. He had media obligations. She grabbed the kids and headed straight for the parking garage. The whole drive home, Luke stared out the window, not saying a word. "You okay, buddy?" Courtney asked. "I didn't like that man, Mommy." "I know, baby. We're home now. We're safe." That night, Courtney put Luke to bed around 9 p.m. His bedroom was on the first floor, big windows facing the backyard, which he usually loved because he could see the trees and the stars. Around 11 p.m., Courtney was in bed scrolling through her phone when she heard it. Footsteps. Fast, small footsteps running up the stairs. Her bedroom door burst open. Luke was standing there, tears streaming down his face, body shaking. "Mommy, he's at my window." Courtney's blood went ice cold. "What?" "The man, from the game. He's knocking on my window." Her husband was already out of bed, moving fast. "Stay here with the kids." He grabbed his phone, turned on the flashlight, and went downstairs. Courtney heard the back door unlock, heard him step outside. She sat on the bed with Luke and China, her heart hammering. A few minutes later, her husband came back upstairs. "There's no one out there. I checked the whole yard." "He was there," Luke sobbed. "I saw him. He was knocking and making that face." Her husband knelt down. "Buddy, I think you had a nightmare. There's no one outside. I promise." "It wasn't a nightmare." Courtney pulled Luke into bed with them. "It's okay, baby. You're safe now." Sometimes scary thoughts feel very real when we're falling asleep. But Luke just kept crying. "You don't believe me." The next morning, Luke was quiet, withdrawn. He kept insisting it had really happened. Courtney and her husband exchanged looks over breakfast. Kids had nightmares. It was normal. The thing at the game had freaked him out, and his brain turned it into a bad dream. That made sense. "Luke," Courtney said gently, "the man at the game was probably just playing around and didn't realize he was scaring you. And last night was just a bad dream because you were thinking about it." Luke looked at her with this heartbreaking expression. "It wasn't a dream, Mommy. Why won't you believe me?" They told him they believed he thought he saw something, but they didn't actually believe him. That was their first mistake. 2 nights later, Saturday night, it happened again. Courtney woke up to screaming, not just crying, screaming. She bolted out of bed and ran downstairs. Luke's bedroom door was open. He was standing in the middle of his room, pointing at the window, absolutely hysterical. "He's back! He's at my window! I told you! I told you!" This time, her husband didn't hesitate. He grabbed his phone and ran outside. Courtney went to the window and looked out. The motion sensor light in the backyard was on, which meant something had triggered it in the last 60 seconds. Her husband's voice came from outside. "Courtney, get out here. Now." She ran outside, her stomach in knots. He was shining his phone's flashlight down at the ground below Luke's window. There were footprints, fresh footprints in the dirt, leading from the back fence to Luke's window and back again. Large footprints, adult-sized. Someone had been standing outside their 6-year-old's window. Courtney felt like she couldn't breathe. "Check the Ring camera," she whispered. They went inside. Her husband pulled up the Ring app on his phone. They had a camera pointed at the back door. He scrubbed back to 10 minutes earlier. Courtney watched the screen, her hands shaking. There, 1:47 a.m. A figure emerged from the shadows near the fence, moving slowly, deliberately. A man, baseball cap pulled low. He walked straight to Luke's window, stood there for a moment. Then he lifted his hand and knocked. 3 slow, methodical knocks. Then he turned toward the camera. The motion sensor light caught his face for just a second. It was him, the man from the game, and he was smiling, but not a normal smile. His mouth was stretched too wide, unnaturally wide, like something out of a nightmare. His eyes were too still, too empty. The exact face Luke had described. Then he turned and walked calmly back toward the fence, disappearing into the darkness. The video ended. Courtney couldn't move, couldn't speak. "Call the police," her husband said quietly. "Right now." The police came within 20 minutes. They took statements, reviewed the footage, searched the property. They found the footprints. They took photos, measurements, filed a report. "Do you know this individual?" the officer asked. "No," Courtney's husband said. "We saw him at a game 2 nights ago. That's it. We've never seen him before in our lives." "Any idea how he got your address?" "No." The officer nodded slowly. "We'll increase patrols in your neighborhood. I'd recommend upgrading your security system. Install cameras on all sides of the house. Motion sensor lights. Keep everything locked." "That's it?" Courtney asked. "You're not going to find him?" "Ma'am, we'll do everything we can, but without a name or more identifying information, it's difficult. We'll file this as trespassing and stalking. If he comes back, call 911 immediately." They didn't sleep that night. They pulled Luke out of his first-floor bedroom and moved him upstairs into the guest room next to their master bedroom. The next day, they installed 4 new cameras covering every angle of the house. Motion sensor floodlights, new locks on every window. Luke refused to sleep alone. For the next week, he slept in their bed every single night. Courtney took time off work. She couldn't focus, couldn't stop thinking about that smile on the footage. A week after the police report, Courtney got a notification on Facebook, a message request from someone she didn't know. No profile picture. The username was just random letters and numbers. KD82JF Nachonhs. She almost deleted it, but something made her open it. The message had no text, just a photo. She clicked on it. It was a picture of her family, sitting on their living room couch, all 4 of them, watching TV together. Taken from outside, through the living room window. Taken the night before. Courtney's vision blurred. She couldn't breathe. She showed her husband with shaking hands. He immediately called the police back. They came again, took the information, tried to trace the account. It had been created the day of the basketball game. No other activity. No friends, no posts. Completely untraceable. The IP address bounced through different countries. VPNs, proxies, a dead end. "He's watching us," Courtney whispered. "He's been watching us this whole time." They haven't gone to a regular game since. When they do go, they sit in a private suite now. Locked door, security outside. They've considered moving, but Courtney's husband's contract keeps them in the city for 2 more years. Luke still won't sleep in his own room. He's in therapy now. The therapist says he's experiencing trauma-related anxiety and hypervigilance. China doesn't remember much, thank God. But Luke remembers everything. He asks sometimes if the man is going to come back. Courtney tells him no, tells him they're safe, tells him the police are watching. But she doesn't believe it, because 2 weeks ago, she was putting groceries in the car outside Target. She looked up, and across the parking lot she saw him. Same build, same baseball cap, just standing there between 2 cars, staring at her. She blinked and he was gone. She tells herself it wasn't him, that her mind is playing tricks, that it was just someone who looked similar. But late at night, when she's checking the cameras before bed, she holds her breath. Because part of her knows he's still out there, still watching. And one day, he might come back. I'm about to tell you something that happened to my friends Ben and Jane 2 years ago. Their marriage barely survived it. And honestly, after hearing the full story, I don't know how it's still holding together. Ben and Jane were that couple everyone envied, both in their early 30s. Ben works in tech. Jane's a professional makeup artist, really talented. Does work for celebrities sometimes. They'd been married for 4 years. No kids yet. But they were talking about it. They had that kind of love that made you believe in soulmates, you know? That all changed because of one Facebook friend request. It was a Tuesday night in September. They were both home, relaxing on the couch. Jane was scrolling through Instagram. Ben was mindlessly checking Facebook, something he barely did anymore, maybe once a week. Then the notification popped up. Loveth Miller wants to be friends. Ben stared at the name. His stomach dropped. Loveth. His high school girlfriend. They dated their entire junior and senior year. The relationship had been intense, too intense. She'd been obsessed with him, wanted to plan their whole future together while they were still 17. Ben broke up with her 2 months before graduation because it got to be too much. She didn't take it well. He hadn't thought about her in over a decade. The profile picture was strange, grainy, taken from far away, hard to make out her face. But the name was right. They had 12 mutual friends, all people from his high school. The profile said she lived in Houston, same as him. Ben figured, why not? It had been 15 years. People change. Water under the bridge. He hit accept. Jane glanced over. Who's that? Just someone from high school, Ben said casually. Girl I used to date, actually. Haven't seen her since we graduated. Jane raised an eyebrow but smiled. Should I be worried? Ben laughed. Babe, it's Facebook. I'm just being polite. That was the first mistake. The next morning, Jane was acting weird, quiet. She kept looking at her phone with this confused expression on her face. Everything okay? Ben asked over coffee. Yeah, just someone's been watching all my Instagram stories, like immediately after I post them. Same account every time. Which account? I don't know. It has no profile picture, no posts, no followers. The username is just random letters and numbers. Probably just a bot, Ben said. Instagram's full of them. Jane shrugged, but she looked uneasy. Over the next 2 days, it kept happening. Every story Jane posted within seconds, this blank account would view it. Jane even posted a story at 2 a.m. one night just to test it. Viewed within 30 seconds. That's creepy, she told Ben. I'm blocking it. But when she tried, the account was already gone. Just disappeared. Thursday morning, Jane got the call. A huge job in Beverly Hills doing makeup for some influencer's wedding party. The whole wedding party. A week-long gig. Great money. I have to take this, she told Ben. I know the timing sucks, but this could lead to more celebrity clients. Babe, go, I'll be fine. It's just a week. Jane left Thursday afternoon. The apartment felt empty without her. Too quiet. By Thursday night, Ben was bored out of his mind. He texted his buddy Marcus. Drinks tonight? They met at this upscale restaurant downtown around 8 p.m. Ben, Marcus, and 2 other guys from work. They grabbed a table, ordered beers, started catching up. About an hour in, Ben felt it. That feeling like someone's watching you. He looked up. She was standing by the bar. Loveth. Ben's heart stopped. She looked exactly the same. Exactly. Same long dark hair, same smile, same eyes. Like she hadn't aged a single day since high school. If anything, she looked younger. She saw him looking and smiled. Then she walked over. Ben? Oh my God, is that you? Ben stood up, caught completely off guard. Loveth? Holy shit. I just accepted your friend request like 3 days ago. What are you doing here? I live here now. Moved back to Houston a few months ago. I saw on Facebook you were in the area. What are the odds we'd run into each other? It seemed like a crazy coincidence, but Houston's a big city. Ben introduced her to his friends. She was charming, funny, told entertaining stories about her time in California. She said she'd been working in marketing, recently single, thinking about settling down. Marcus and the guys eventually called it a night. They had work in the morning. Loveth stayed. She and Ben talked for hours. She asked about Jane, and Ben told her they were happy, planning to start a family soon. Loveth seemed genuinely glad for him, but there was something in the way she looked at him. Too intense, too familiar, like no time had passed at all. I've missed you, she said quietly at one point. Ben shifted uncomfortably. Loveth, I'm married. You know that. I know, I'm not trying to. She laughed, but it didn't reach her eyes. I just mean it's nice to see you again. That's all. By midnight, they were the last customers in the restaurant. The staff was wiping down tables around them, giving them looks. I should go, Ben said, checking his phone. Early morning tomorrow. Me too. My hotel's just a few blocks away. She looked at him. Want to walk with me? Just to the lobby. I hate walking alone at night in the city. It seemed like a reasonable request. Just a few blocks. Ben agreed. They walked slowly. She talked about her time in Los Angeles, about coming back home, about how Houston had changed. When they got to her hotel, a nice place downtown, she stopped at the entrance. Want to come up for a drink? I have a bottle of wine in my room. It'd be nice to keep catching up. Ben knew he should say no. He knew exactly where this was heading. But there was something about her, something that made it hard to say no. Like he was 17 again, completely under her spell. Just one drink, he heard himself say. That was the second mistake. Ben woke up at 6 a.m. to the sound of his phone buzzing. He was in a hotel room he didn't recognize. The curtains were drawn, the sheets were unfamiliar. Loveth was asleep next to him, her bare back facing him. Ben's heart started racing. He grabbed his phone, 3 missed calls from Jane, 2 voicemails, several texts. Hey babe, just checking in. Call me when you get a chance. Are you okay? You're not answering. His hands were shaking. He got dressed as quietly as possible, grabbed his wallet and keys, and slipped out of the room. In the Uber home, reality crashed down on him. What the hell had he done? He loved Jane. He'd never cheated on her, never even thought about it. But he couldn't deny what had just happened. The guilt was suffocating. When he got home, he sat on the couch and texted Loveth. Last night was a mistake. I love my wife. This can never happen again. He waited for a response. Nothing. Jane called an hour later. Ben forced himself to sound normal, asked about the job, told her he'd been out late with the guys and crashed hard, didn't hear his phone. She believed him. He almost told her right then, almost confessed everything. But he couldn't do it over the phone. He'd wait until she got home. He'd tell her in person. He'd beg for forgiveness. That afternoon, his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Call me. Ben's stomach turned. He called immediately. Loveth, you can't contact me. What happened last night? Was amazing, she interrupted. Her voice was different now. Cold. Don't pretend you didn't want it, Ben. I felt how much you wanted it. I made a mistake. I was drunk. I love my wife. Does she know you were with me last night? Ben's blood went cold. Loveth, please. Because I could tell her. I could send her the hotel security footage. I could send her the photos I took while you were asleep. What photos? You looked so peaceful, so handsome, just like high school. Ben felt sick. What do you want? I want you to stop ignoring me. I want you to remember what we had, what we could have again. We're not getting back together, Loveth. I'm married. We'll see about that. She hung up. For the next 3 days, Loveth texted him constantly. I'm outside your building. Come down. I miss you already. Why are you avoiding me? Then the photos started. Pictures of him at work, getting coffee, walking into his apartment building. She was following him. Ben started looking over his shoulder everywhere he went, changed his routine, took different routes home. But she always found him. You can't hide from me, Ben. We're meant to be together. He thought about going to the police, but what would he say? That he cheated on his wife and now his ex was stalking him? They'd laugh him out of the station. He thought about telling Jane, but how could he? It would destroy her. Sunday afternoon, Jane came home 3 days early. She walked through the door, dropped her bags, and just stared at him. Who's Loveth? Ben felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. What? She's been messaging me on Instagram, sending me photos. Jane's voice was shaking. Photos of you and her in a hotel room. Ben couldn't speak, couldn't move. How could you? Jane's eyes filled with tears. We were supposed to start a family. We were supposed to... Her voice broke. Jane, I'm so sorry. It was one night, one terrible mistake. I was drunk and stupid and... She sent me the messages, Ben. The text you sent her. Last night was a mistake. That means you knew what you were doing. You weren't that drunk. I was going to tell you. I swear I was going to tell you. When? When were you going to tell me? After she'd been stalking you for a week? After she messaged your wife with proof? Ben tried to explain about the stalking, the threats, the photos of him around the city. Jane listened, but her face was unreadable. Finally, she said, "Show me her Facebook profile." Ben pulled out his phone and searched for Loveth's name. The profile was gone, completely gone. That's impossible. It was right here. Jane grabbed his phone and searched herself. Nothing. She checked his friend list. Loveth wasn't on it. Never had been. "Check the messages," Jane said quietly. Ben checked his texts. The conversation with Loveth, all of it was gone, like it had never existed. He showed Jane. Her face went pale. "This doesn't make sense," Ben said. "She was real. I saw her. I talked to her. Marcus and the guys met her." Jane pulled out her own phone. "The Instagram account that messaged me is gone too, and the photos she sent, they're gone, all of them." They sat there in silence for a long moment. Jane's voice was barely a whisper. "What was her last name?" "Loveth what?" "Miller, Loveth Miller." Jane typed it into Google. She scrolled for a moment. Then she stopped. Her face went white. She turned her phone around. It was an obituary, a Facebook memorial page. "In loving memory of Loveth Miller. February 12, 1991, May 28, 2008. Ben's vision blurred. "No, that's not possible. She died 17 years ago, Ben. Car accident, 2 days after graduation." No, I saw her. I talked to her. He couldn't finish the sentence. Jane was crying now. "You slept with her, Ben. You slept with a ghost, or something pretending to be her. I don't know what, but..." She couldn't finish either. Ben called Marcus the next day. "That girl who came up to our table Thursday night. Loveth. Do you remember her?" There was a long pause. "What girl?" "The girl who sat with us. Dark hair, talked about living in California." "Dude, no one sat with us. It was just the four of us the whole night. Are you okay?" Ben hung up. He checked the restaurant's Instagram page, looked through their tagged photos from that night, found a picture someone had taken of their table. 4 guys, no one else. Loveth had never been there. Jane eventually forgave him. Sort of. She said she believed something had happened, something neither of them could explain. She said she believed he'd been manipulated, maybe haunted, maybe worse. But things were never the same. She looks at him differently now, like she's not sure what he is, what he's capable of. Late at night, she'll wake up and just stare at him. He can feel it. She's checking to make sure he's really him, that he's really there. They don't talk about starting a family anymore. They don't talk about the future at all. It's been 2 years. They're still together, technically. But Ben knows it's only a matter of time. The trust is gone. The foundation is cracked. Sometimes, late at night, he checks Facebook, searches for Loveth's name, but there's never anything there. Just that memorial page. Loveth Miller, 1991-2008. He never knew she died. They'd broken up 2 months before graduation, and he never looked back, never went to the funeral, never knew. Sometimes he wonders if that's why she came back, if she blamed him, if dying right after he left her made her hold on to something she couldn't let go of. Or maybe it wasn't her at all. Maybe it was something else, something that took her shape, used her name, fed on his guilt. He doesn't know. He'll never know. All he knows is that one friend request destroyed everything he loved, and he can never take it back.